Hello everyone and welcome to another unit review and the first unit review of the 2021. Yes, it is now, it's finally out of 2020. I think, 2020 has been a interesting year to say it nicely, but the year is done and now we're moving on to a new year, and a new year means new units in Wotv. So today we're going to be looking at King Mont. However, get this, this is not the 13th month of 2020. Let's get instead a little bit of this year. I kind of want to do like this thing with my videos, especially Wotv videos, where we're going to be doing like the Final Fantasy of that month. In other words, so first month, second month, third month, and so on. So yeah, let's get some old Final Fantasy music in here. So all right, let's talk about King Mont, and I can't think of anything more appropriate to talk about a fire unit than using a water themed song. All right, so anyway, King Mont has arrived, and he is a brand new unit for a brand new year. This is a double cost non-limited unit. He is a fire elemental. Primary job is a brand new job. Now the Japanese translation is like, I think it's supposed to be like arch leader or like King Leonis, Arch Lord. Kind of reminds me a little bit of. I wonder if it's just going to be changed to like Leonis Lord or something on the English side. Gonna have to wait and see. But King Mont is primarily a tank, and unlike a few units that came last year where it was, I mean, okay, if you want to label him as a tank, I get. But King Mont actually is a tank and a really, really strong unit, to be sure. He is a physical attacker. He has a lot of debuffs in his kit. He has hate generation and quite a bit of nice hate generation, by the way. It should be noted, too, that at the time of this recording, Wotv Calc hasn't updated, so I don't have exact numbers. But I don't think it's going to really change my evaluation of this unit. I think that he is just really, really strong. But good news, he is not going to be as much of a meta breaker as I think he was going to be, but I do think that he is going to be still really strong. Also has the benefit of high mobility through his ninja job, which is particularly nice. And he can strengthen the entire party with the with his master ability. That's pretty standard at this point, but still pretty good. Something to note is that he doesn't have any penetration attack weak or strength, and I'll show that in a little bit here. But not only that, he is a pretty high cost unit, so he is super expensive, and he is going to be a unit that you probably want to get to level 120 because, I mean, he is a high cost unit. So there you go. And yeah, let's get into taking a look at it. We'll also talk about his EX job real quickly since it is such a high cost. One of the things he does get, one of his reaction abilities ends up becoming much stronger. Not only does it have HP upper limit as well as defense improval, but it also has hate generation on it. So in other words, he can start the battle with higher HP, higher defense, and hate up as well. What's interesting is that I don't know the amount of hate. I would assume that it's probably pretty standard, probably in line with Warrior of Light. We'll check out that when the exact numbers have been released. But it is still a really good thing, and I hope this means good thing for Engelbert as well. If Engel could end up getting this kind of ability as well on his kit, that would go a long way to improving Engel. Obviously, Engel probably needs a better generation of hate, but this could be a good thing for future tanks, and probably some old tanks who are due to get their EX jobs in the near future. All right. Also looking at one of his attacks, the large diamond AoE, gets a number of uses up and an AP consumption down. That's just pretty good. What's funny about this is I actually tested this ability earlier. Unfortunately, the friend cooldown timer is pretty ruthless even in 2021, so I can't show him yet. Maybe I'll be able to do a demonstration in the future. But the funny thing was that I actually tested it where Mont himself was in the range of the attack, And while it dealt a really good amount of damage to the enemies, it actually only dealt 200 damage to him. So that's kind of funny. Even though wide AoE nukes can sometimes end up being a problem if your units are caught in it. But at least if King Mont or Lord Mont is going to be caught in his own AoE, he's pretty durable against it. So I found that kind of funny. Also, flying in the blue, his new ability, which is a 3-turn defense up and CT up as well, which is kind of interesting. Generates AP, also makes him just a little bit react faster, and having his own defense up, because King Mont is a primarily physical base tank. All right, so taking a look at his Lord abilities, we're just going to call it Lord for now, because I have a Fire Emblem background. All right, so Iron Blow. This is for his primary job in Lord. I should mention too, damage up to the target, destroying the barrier that reduces physical damage. So in other words, he has burial removal on one of his most basic skills. A little bit of range on it, not amazing. Claiming this one makes it easier for it to be targeted. In other words, gives you hate, and also speed up for 3 turns, can be duplicated up to 3 times. So this is interesting because this is an ability that actually stacks. So if Mont were to use this ability multiple times, he'll end up getting more and more and more and more speed up, and hate, which is interesting. If I'm reading that correctly, I'm curious as to how potentially high his speed could get if it is a stackable one. And we haven't seen a ton of stackable buffs, so this could be leading into a new generation of units having stackable buffs, which could really devalue old units, but not wanting to fearmonger too much. All right. And next is a one that has the surround him, basically Rose's Limit Burst style AoE. Increase resistance to all attributes of allies within range centered around itself for 3 turns. I didn't get any time to really test this. Interestingly, it does have casting time, but again, really interesting ability, and I do believe that it's ranged attack, but again, I really want to test that ability out and see how powerful it is. Next, Lion King's Fang. Damage to the target large. Probability that you will get on the move 3 turns, don't act effect. Didn't test this ability a ton, but it has a high range on it, which is good if you're going to keep Mont's potential movement slow. Young Lion's Claw, this is his AoE one. Medium damage, slash attack resistance down. Strong, just strong for swords. Kind of want to see how much slash attack resistance it does remove, but definitely a really strong ability. As for the sub part, he also has Twin Break, which has range on it, I think, of 3. Damage to target medium, attack for 3 turns, and magic power down. So, good break for making a tank last longer. This is the one ability that I end up really liking, was Kiyosumi's Breath. Regeneration effect that gradually restores HP to allies within range for 3 turns. It actually has a regen effect, and on Mont, it was healing about, I think, 1,000 per turn. Not bad. Gives them some heal. And as for his unique counter, this one is reduces damage within probability of receiving damage. So just a damage reduction ability. Again, really strong for tanks. Flame Sword is one of his supports in this job. Acquired AP up, and Leonis's protection, HP up and defense up. That's the one that also gets improved by getting to 120. That also has 8 on it. As for his sub 2 jobs, Nightblade ability, double resist, stun blade, AP drain, spinning slash, injury sword, which is the AoE one that reduces healing power for multiple turns, and also counter swing. Honestly, a little disappointed that the this sub job didn't end up getting the 3-hit chaining ability that also heals the target, but that could have ended up making Mont probably just way too strong. He ends up having really good attack, so you don't want another Una situation potentially where you have an immortal unit. So Una plus this unit does seem a little bit scary as a combination. Secret Blade, attack and hit rate up, evasion rate down. Well, great on a tank just because that supportability, obviously, you're not trying to evade with this unit. You're just looking to take damage head on. Continuing on, Ninja has basically what you expect. Poison Fog, Technique, Shuriken, Hidden, Freely Livable, Dream 3 stage, and a Fire attack, Poison Needle Return, Shadow Running, which is quickness and luck up, and last but not least, the move and jump +1, which actually goes a long way to improve Mont. Because one of the things I did while testing him initially was realize that his movement definitely leaves a lot to be desired, but it also kind of, one of the things I've noted is that Mont's passives supports are probably a little bit too good. I mean, acquired AP up is just an acquired AP up ability, but the HP up limit and defense up versus the attack and aim, I mean, there's quite a few good options and not enough spots for all of these, which is good. You have a couple ways to build them, but all feel really good, and leaving some of these out feels also kind of bad, so not super happy about that. But you know, double cost unit problems. All right, let's take a look at his limit burst real quick. Damage to targets within range centered around yourself. Large probability of causing Berserk for 3 turns. Interesting to see this ability show up because Berserk, I really haven't tested it in game, so I'm not entirely sure how effective it would be. Berserk protection is also, well, doesn't really exist. And this is just a thing where if you get swarmed by units, you can hit them particularly pretty darn hard. And given that he can generate hate pretty readily, it does seem plausible that this could happen for this unit. So there you go. Honestly, I really don't have anything overly bad to say about it. Just a really strong limit burst. And last but not least, in terms of talking about some things, we're going to take a look at the TMR ability. So 491 HP, 11 defense, 6 spirit. Increase range attack resistance on allies within range centered around itself for 3 turns. So yeah, this TMR is just really strong. Obviously, being able to buff other units for range attack means that your units will just be generally stronger. Kind of interested how much percentage this gives since it is a double cost TMR, but I do think that this is a really strong TMR and one that you will probably want to get in the okay, it was a bad joke, but anyway, continuing on, just gonna show some screenshots because even though I cannot show off the unit right now, I can show off some screenshots from what I took. So taking a look at resistances, these were his resistances from the friend build. 25% slash resistance, 10% pierce resistance, 15% shooting resistance. I do, if I remember correctly, believe that he had Ifrit on him in the build. So I want to say that's correct, but I also don't exactly remember because it was like 3 a.m. when I was testing. So give me a little bit of a break. But strike and magic resistance ended up being a null on this unit, which isn't bad. Not having any particular weaknesses is very strong on a unit, and I do think there is enough potential equipment out there that you could give him a pretty good start on having decent resistances in those categories as well. But I think that the shooting resistance and sword resistance here is particularly noteworthy because it's just going to end up being really, really nice for a tank trying to keep himself particularly strong. Oh, looking on here, he also has some -2 blow resistance, strike resistance, but I guess the build is giving him some of that to make it neutral, but strike units aren't particularly scary yet, so could be fine, could be fine. Taking a look at his stats, this is what his stats end up being. Ah, yes, it was Golem. My bad. 10,000 HP. This is the first unit I've ever seen to cross that mark, and it is a lot of HP. For all you Drain Force people out there, I'm sure you'd love to test out Drain on a unit like this, but sadly not there. 800 attack, particularly very strong. 6 spirit, but 67 defense is a really nice amount of defense. And again, he can improve his defense even more. I do believe from my memory that he was running both of his Lord support abilities. So this is kind of a really high defense build, but he still has 84 speed. Now, taking a look at his stats kind of in battle, this is what it was looking like before, and then I ran his hate up and speed up buff, which ended up pushing his speed, or his quickness speed to 91. And yeah, I'm pretty generally happy about that. If I had remembered about the stacking ability, I would have tried it a few more times to see how it ended up stacking, or if it really does end up stacking speed. But 91 speed on a tank is pretty good. The only thing that really hurt him with this build was the fact that I thought that his movement was particularly bad, so I'd almost recommend running the ninja job just so he can get in there faster and start, actually soaking up damage. And last but not least, taking a look at his limit burst ability here. This was tested on the level 60 map, dealing about 5,000 damage to the enemy, which is pretty darn strong. But also a 67% chance of Berserk, which is pretty high. So yeah, my overall thoughts of King Mont seems to be that he is a really strong unit. Definitely a step up for tanks. He has everything that you'd want from a tank. He's also not not limited, which is nice, seeing that the game really did kind of need a resurgence of tanks. Could be kept under control in the future by the use of any water fist unit. And I know what everyone's thinking, Tifa, and yeah, I agree. I do think Tifa is probably the one that I would expect to be a water fist unit and potentially really hard counter this unit. But I do think Mont is just incredibly strong, and definitely the value that you get off this unit I think is worth the double cost. Taking a look at the vision card, 25% HP increase for fire units, as well as, the buffs to fire unit off of this vision card is really, really strong. Range attack resistance up, attack up, fire tribute is the only real condition here, but Larudo is also another fire tanky unit that would really benefit from this card. So this vision card does have applications outside of, and that's nice. You have the potential workings of a team there. Put Luasa in that team, or Luartha, I guess, for the Globalers, on that team as well, and you end up being a really nice spot. So yeah, I think that it is a solid combination, and they did a double cost unit Mont right, but he is twice as expensive, so remember that. And to celebrate the new year, and because I still have 10k Lapis sitting in my inbox from a New Year's gift. Hey, thanks, devs. I'll definitely say thank you. We'll do one pull here, and we have our mascot of 2021. I know it's the year of the Ox, but he's just so huggable and lovable. Let's just do a multi-pull. Should be noted that the banner rates for, if you're wondering about how you get him on the JP side, there is no step up for him. There's nothing guaranteed. He's not even on like all of the New Year's guaranteed banners that give you guaranteed stuff. He is not anywhere. So running his own banner has the highest percentage chance of ending up getting him if you do get it. So we'll see if we're a little bit lucky. Go up there and boop the screen with the pink nose of destiny. All right, here we go. Boop. See if we have any luck in the year 20. It's a silver book, so no. But yeah, King Mont I do think is going to be a very strong unit for the future, and getting him is probably a good thing. Wow, that's quite a few yellows at least, right? Oh, okay. All right. So that was the lower tier one. Actually, there's no hope of getting the unit on this. Huh, funny that. Kind of actually would want to not see a U. Hey, IGN. Dash and hopes. All right. So anyway, that's a brief look at King Mont there. Think that he is definitely a strong unit, but a costly unit. So maybe plan out your future. If you really like him and you really like Mont, you could probably do a heck of a lot worse. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care and see you next time.